The itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out.
Our show today is called Imagine That. Imagine That.
Imagine that.
Once there was a minstrel who had traveled far and wide telling stories and singing songs.
That they only had enough food for themselves.
For ourselves.
And we couldn't be feeding every passerby.
Passerby.
And told the man to be on his way.
On his way.
Or else.
Or else.
And before the minstrel could find out what the or else meant, the door was slammed in his face. He was about to give up and set off down the road hungry when he spotted a small stone at the side of the road. With this magic stone, I can make you a soup if you have a pot and some boiling water. We could just add some things to the soup that would spice up the taste a little bit. What would you put in a soup?
Well, how about some carrots?
Carrots, what a great idea. Do you have any carrots?
Yes, I do.
Oh, excellent. Then we'll put those in the soup. All right. And,
Maybe a potato?
a potato, that's such a good idea. Do you have a potato?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and peeled and everything. Thank you very much. And does anyone out there know what else we could put into the soup? And this wonderfully delicious soup was made from just one single, solitary, magical soup stone. Imagine that. When I started telling stories, it was something like this. Once upon a time, there were 3 billy goats growing. There were a little billy goat, a middle billy goat, and a big billy goat. And they wanted to cross the bridge to eat the grass on the far side.
But underneath the bridge, in the dark shadows, there lived an evil, ugly troll who had big saucer eyes and a big pointy nose. Trip-trap went his little baby feet. The baby Billy Goat Gruff was frightened. Please, don't eat me. Wait for my bigger brother.
Trip, trop, trip, it's me, middle billy goat. I'm just crossing the bridge to get to the grass on the other side.
Goat burger!
Along came the biggest billy goat Gruff. And he had 2 great horns. And he was going to cross the bridge. Trip, drop, trip, drop, trip.
Bigga, binda, bunda.
And in some stories, you get to make suggestions as to how the story goes. Like what the story is about.
And who the characters might be.
And where it might take place. Putting
Them
on, he
began
to roll,
and
roll, and
roll,
but he
couldn't
stop. Quickly
he
zoomed down
a
hill into
a
wall. Norris
cracked
his shell
and
never rollerbladed
ever
again.
the end.
Imagine that. Jeremy was sitting in his desk with his hands under his chin, just counting the seconds until school would end.
But then, from the hallway, he heard it.
If something was coming down the hall towards their classroom.
And it sounded like it was humongous. Jeremy looked to the doorway and saw
A huge shadow in the frosted window of the classroom. It leaned towards the doorknob and opened the door, and there was...
Imagine that. The itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout.
Down came the rain and washed that spider.
A drip, drip, drippity splash.
Came the sun.
Then down
that. Imagine that.
Imagine that.